late at his own station.
Yeah, we started at his own station, he didn't show up. What can you do? What can you do?
Wake up earlier.
Hello, you're with Calling All Stations. Let's introduce you to the team today. We have...
Hi, I'm Tom. Would you like some more information?
Yeah.
My favourite tube station is Oval because that's near where I live and that's where we're going later today.
And...
Hello, I'm David. My favourite tube station is any one that's open at 2 a.m. when I'm drunk.
None of them.
This is going to be fun.
And...
Hello, I'm Victoria. Look, see, I even came labelled.
You'll recognise Victoria from Walk the Tube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I did the rolling of the dice. That's dice.
Oh yeah, you did Transport Roulette as well.
Yeah, I did.
So we're outside Clapham South. Don't sound so unenthusiastic.
No,
I know it's very
just
cold.
Really cold.
That's right. Today we're south of the river on episode 4 of the Map Challenge. And before we get going, I've actually collected a station through natural means in day-to-day life. 2 days prior to this meet, I was passing through Victoria, a station in a permanent state of chaos. Anyway, the journey began at Balham, which is yet another Charles Holden. Holden designed the surface level buildings from stations from here to Morden wholesale. Many of the structures that we'll see in subsequent videos share similar shapes and design features. The clean-cut modernist lines of Balham Tube marks a stark contrast to its next-door neighbour, the late Victorian-era Southern Railway Station. In post-war Britain, Balham was poked fun of in a 1950s radio skit Gateway to the South. It depicted an austere, dirty and somewhat slum-like community. These days Balham is a thriving and sought-after suburb, owing to its good transport connections and nearby open spaces. On most of these trips we've headed from the city outwards, however today we'll be doing the opposite as we delve down onto the trains and head north. Clapham South forms part of the 1926 City and South London Railway extension from Clapham Common down to Morden. The escalators here give way to a hexagonal skylight in the ticket hall, and outside, the station is noticeably similar to Balham. Though the block of flats above the station also appear in an Art Deco style, these were a later addition. The mismatch in brick and stone is a clue to the fact that they were not built together. Immediately noticeable as you leave the station is an odd concrete cylinder on the edge of the common.
I like the that over there.
Let's walk that way.
What is that?
Good question, Tom. What is that? That is Clapham South deep level shelter, which was built for the Second World War. We're actually going to go down that later in the year.
Cool. I'm glad I asked.
Didn't I hear, Andy, that after war they used it to house like refugees and people who'd come over, like the Windrush generation and things?
That's right, Victoria.
I'm just paraphrasing, but I think
that's right. They did.
I think it was used as like
I think
temporary accommodation.
That's right. They came over and they housed them temporarily in Clapham South shelter. Yes, we'll be back later in the year to see inside the shelter, but for now we continue north alongside the expansive common. After just under a mile, we reach Clapham Common Station, one of Charles Holden's more unusual works. The 1924 building, complete with its glazed dome which allows light into the ticket hall below, replaced the original 1900s Thomas Phillips figure structure. It's possible this design was adopted to mimic the lift housing domes that were once a prevalent feature on all the City and South London railway stations between Stockwell and Borough. Whilst on the other hand, others have argued that it's styled after a classical temple. Either way, the entrance feels unusually cramped and understated for a Holden station. If cramped spaces aren't for you, then you won't fare much better at platform level. Both Clapham Common and the next stop, Clapham North, are the last two stations on the network to feature slender island platforms with both running lines in one tunnel bore. This was an original cost-cutting design feature of the CNSLR and one that was once seen at all their stations. With such limiting capacity, it was clearly not apparent to the early Victorian underground pioneers just how important these subterranean railways would become for our cities. A few other examples of this type of station can also be seen on the Glasgow subway, which was constructed around the same time. Now, one of the books I used to do my research describes the facade at Clapham North as sub-postmodern Egyptian, and if anybody has any idea what that means, do feel free to let me know, as I feel it's rather plain in formation. The ticket hall, however, is a different matter.
Well, this is lovely, isn't it?
We've appeared to have stumbled upon the garden station.
It's really nice. The roundel's made of like astroturf, which is quite nice. And there's classical music. I feel like I should sort of just be lounging in a chair, reading Wordsworth or something.
Yeah.
It's quite nice.
This is a big contrast to the Stanmore branch. We're liking Clapham so far.
Yes, Clapham's lovely.
Onwards to Brixton, where you find us discussing the merits of the Northern Line versus the Victoria Line.
I think we want to go that way.
Okay, so we've been doing our usual walk between a station, get the tube, walk to the next station. Started off at Balham, tube to Clapham South, walk to Clapham Common, tube to Clapham North, and now we're walking to Brixton, and we're going to tick off that side of the Victoria Line.
Yeah, give it a big old tick.
Give it a big old tick. What are your general thoughts on the Northern Line as a line?
I mean, I'm very fond of the Northern Line because
you live on it.
Because I live on it. Well, so I have a weird thing now where I get the tube from Oval in order to get into work. Then I go south to Stotwell and then go north all the way up the Victoria Line. Correct.
So maybe we shouldn't be talking about the Northern Line. Maybe we should be talking about the Victoria Line and the merits of crossing town on the Victoria Line.
I think the Victoria Line is an incredibly effective line. It's super fast. It's very satisfying to be on because it feels like you're really going somewhere.
Yeah.
The Northern Line is amazing because you can go through very different parts of town, and also it has everything on it.
It's got interesting architecture. It's got Holden, it's got Leslie Green, it's got some brutal 60s stuff at Old Street. Northern Line's got a bit of everything for everyone, isn't it?
It has.
I particularly like the island platforms. I quite like that at the two
They make
Clapham
me feel a
stations
little
we
bit
went through.
scared. There's no wall to lean against. I'm worried I'm going to fall in front of a train.
They do make me feel quite claustrophobic, and I suppose that's
especially
why
when
there's
they're
only
full of
two of
people.
them left.
Yes, I wouldn't like it in rush hour, but I've never had to go there in rush hour. The thing with the Northern Line I don't like, and I think it's only going to get worse because they're doing the extension, aren't they, is that you can never tell where it's going, what side it is. Like when you go to Camden, it's like this platform, that platform, up north, south,
Train's
west.
on this bit,
Where's
but
it
it's headed
going?
for that bit.
Yeah, it's going over there, and it should be two lines. Have another one. Pick a different colour. Do something.
TfL's long-term goal is to rebuild Camden Town and segregate the Northern Line branches once and for all.
Well, because
That's
I
what
was
they're
just
trying
going
to
to say, would that not? It would make more sense once you got the Battersea split to just have two separate lines.
Yeah, that's their long-term goal.
I think. If you want my opinion, Andy?
I suppose so.
I think Brixton gets a hard time of it in general, and I think
Nice bits of Brixton.
that there are few more colourful places in London than Brixton.
But there's an Art Deco pub there.
Yeah.
You've got the old Victorian houses. There's a lot to see.
There is a lot to see, and I'm not sure I'd want to live here necessarily, but I think to come to on a regular basis, it's really nice. There's loads of really cool stuff. It's all right, Brixton.
Standing beneath an imposing roundel, a band of steel drummers serenade passers-by with the hits of ABBA. Yes, Brixton is alive and well, but across the street, people stop and stare a while in a moment of calm. Though not apparent from the 1971 rebuild, Stockwell was one of the first deep-level tube stations in the world when it was constructed with the 1890 CNSLR line to King William Street. A depot also once sat opposite the station. Stockwell is the site of another wartime deep-level shelter. Like Clapham South, it was one of 7 such shelters built on the Northern Line. It has now, rather fittingly, been incorporated into the local war memorial and has been decorated by a local school. The adjacent clock tower was built in 1920 to commemorate the First World War. From the outside, Oval Station is an odd combination of Charles Holden's original shape and the 1996 polished concrete refurb. The tiles have not weathered well, and the station now looks noticeably tatty. On the inside though, it's a much brighter story, another garden station with matching green and white tiled murals depicting a popular local sport. At platform level, refurbishments have been true to the 1890 design, where you can see the distinctive green, black and white tiled colour scheme and wooden nameboards, common in these parts.
I wish I caught that on camera. My hands are so cold, I can't use them.
This is your patch. What can
This
you
is
tell us
my
about your
patch.
patch?
Well, do you know what? It's my patch, but I don't think I've ever actually been out of Kennington Station.
I thought this is where you lived.
No, my station's Oval.
Oh, well,
Oval's my
we
station.
should have talked about Oval.
Well, that's alright. I mean, Oval's really nice. I think Kennington is nicer. Yeah, I haven't ever been out of here, because the only time I tend to go through Kennington is when you can't get down all the way on the Morden line, you have to change. Yeah, so I'm kind of intrigued about Kennington Station as you are. Have you ever been out of Kennington Station?
I don't think I have.
No, here we go. It's a voyage of discovery.
It is. And discovery it is. Kennington is the oldest and only deep-level tube station on the network to retain its original surface-level building. Imagine this structure with the platforms of Clapham North and you'll paint a pretty accurate picture of what early underground travel was like. We're up at Kennington. We've had a break for some tea because it is absolutely freezing. But we found a nice pub recommended by Tom. This is his patch after all.
Yes, this one's the White Bear.
The White Bear.
The White
I think
Bear.
it dates back to like 1780 or something.
Where did you read that?
In their menu.
In their menu.
It's very good.
That's very good knowledge. But they do really good coffees.
Where are we, Tom?
We're actually quite close to Oval. Slightly demoralising.
Yeah, we
But-
walked a long way from Stockwell to Oval. That felt like a really long walk.
It did feel like a long way.
And then one stop up to Kennington, and apparently we're not far from Oval.
We're not.
Brilliant.
It's pretty close, but everything's quite close around here. And that's the Northern Line in general, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all on one road.
Yeah.
It's all on one road.
It is.
So after this, I'm going to walk to Vauxhall and take in the Victoria Line. Now, the thing I like about the Victoria Line, it does what it's supposed to do, and it's never been burdened with doing anything beyond what it was originally designed to do in the 60s. If you look at any of the other tube lines, the Central Line, the District Line, they originally started in the middle of the city, ferrying people around in the middle, and then it all got bolted together with extra bits and extended and extended and extended. The Victoria Line never had to do any of that. It's designed as one, built as one, and as we'll see later on, Pimlico is the only station on the Victoria Line that doesn't interchange with something else. That's another thing I like about the Victoria Line. It's so useful. It interchanges with lots of other stuff. I never really get excited about using it. I never think, oh great, I'm using the Victoria Line, this is really good, but when I'm on it, I'm thinking, yes, I'm on it because I need to go somewhere and it's going to do that for me.
That's the point of the train, isn't it? What do you get on the Central Line for?
Going to work and going home.
That's
And I get on the Victoria Line when the Central Line's not doing what it should be doing. How often? Just today. We better go to Vauxhall. With light fading fast, there's just time to appreciate the infamous ski ramps of Vauxhall bus station, which are also incidentally giant solar panels, before delving back onto the Victoria Line. As we head into town for an event, we've just got time to pop our heads up at Pimlico. If you want to get a feel for what the Victoria Line was like when it first opened, then head here. You'll see many of the original signage and decor still in use. Also, once a feature of all the stations on the line, Pimlico is the only stop to retain its backlit roundels, something it now only shares with Hatton Cross. So we come to the end of our day, or mostly the end of the day. We just got off at Leicester Square. We're going to go for some food. We're going to an event at the Transport Museum later. But this is why I hate Leicester Square. It's just busy and crowded and smelly and touristy and anxiety everywhere.
How many stations have we done, Andy?
Oh, that's a good point. I think we've done 11.
We've done a lot of walking. Now it says we've done 18,736 steps.
That's pretty good.
In miles, that's 8.3 miles we've walked today.
That's a hell of a lot. We've seen a good part of the
I feel
city.
like we're about to get mugged.
Mugged by the happiest mugger in the world.
Can I just say I'm here as well, by the way?
At Radio Robbie.
Why have you been talking to me?
I'm at Tom Roll.
Was it because you were late?
Yes.
Might be something to do with being 2.5 hours late.
Yes. Late at his own station.
Yeah, we started at his own station, he didn't show up. What can you do? What can you do? Right, I'm going, because it's cold. After our appointment at the museum, I head home via Holborn. And as I said in the pub, with the Central Line not doing its job today, the Victoria Line once again comes to the rescue, as I end up at my backup station, Walthamstow Central. Don't forget you can catch up with the whole challenge by heading over to www.callingallstations.co.uk and clicking on the 270, where you can read stories, anecdotes, histories and notes for each station as I visit them, along with more images. You've been with Calling All Stations, and we'll see you at the next stop. Hello, you're with Calling All Stations. What's funny about that?
It was. Do you know what?
Hello.
It was the look of concentration, and the
I've got to focus my vibes.
anticipatory pause.
Right.